world changes soon. Can get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. Every dude who touched a boob or a booty getting me too. What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive. We're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful. Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate.
Welcome to the Redpill Sports Entertainment Show, Morsel. I am your host, Albert Apache, and as usual, brought to you by Open Source Self-Defense, Fitness, and Grappling. So in this morsel, we are going to cover the upcoming UFC bout between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. This is the second time these two have fought, and so with that, let's just be really frank and honest. Conor is the huge favorite here. I want to say it's almost 2-1 favorite. The last time I looked at the odds, the betting odds. So rather than looking a lot at what Conor may or may not do, I think it'd be more interesting to take a look at Dustin Poirier and exactly how can Dustin improve on his performance in order to get the W against Conor McGregor. So if we look at this through the MMA math lens that a lot of people like to use, we would say that Conor, beat Diaz, who beat Michael Johnson, who beat Dustin. Therefore, this equals that Conor will beat Dustin. So MMA math, we really don't like to use it, but that being said, a lot of people do. And I think this is why Conor is being favored so heavily in this rematch. There's some other reasons why as well, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but I just find it interesting to kind of look at what the MMA math says before we move on. So let's first talk about some of the fights that Dustin has looked really good in recently, and let's start with his win over Eddie Alvarez. In this fight, he really proved to be a very good striker, a better boxer than Alvarez, and really picked his shots, kept his pace, put together combinations, which is what Dustin usually does. Against his loss against Khabib, he kind of strayed away from that and went into sniper mode. Against Justin Gaethje, again, he was a very good combination striker. And really, I think in this fight, Justin got a bit reckless. This is before Justin started to fight more measured. Of course, against Max Holloway, he exploited the fact that he was a bigger, stronger, more powerful puncher, and he used his power punches to disrupt Max's rhythm, his flow, because Max is very much a rhythm and flow fighter. This is what Dustin did to break the flow. Now, the fight that worries me is the fight with Michael Johnson. Why? Similar to McGregor, Michael Johnson has the one-punch knockout power, and he is a sniper-type fighter. He looks for that big sniping shot, and of course, he did catch Dustin Poirier and put him down. Now, the other fight that makes us worry about it is the Conor McGregor against Cowboy Cerrone fight. Why? Because Conor showed that he is powerful, carrying much more power. I don't think he puts Cerrone down this same way. Now, what has Conor's Achilles heels been in the past? What styles? Well, we know he lost to Khabib, giving up a big strike here, but this was also due to the fact that Khabib masked his shot behind level changes. The next fight we've seen McGregor not look good was against Nate Diaz. Against Nate Diaz was very patient. He rolled with the punches. He stayed in his boxing. He trusted his boxing. When it went to the ground, he choked out McGregor. Now, all that being said, what is Dustin going to have to do in order to get the W on his record and avenge his loss? I think that Dustin is going to have to lean into being more along the lines of a Nate Diaz. He's going to have to be loose and patient. I really don't like that he's been talking about wanting to go into war and have this bloody back and forth with Conor. I don't think that serves him well. Some of the fights we talked about earlier, the Eddie Alvarez fight, the Max Holloway fight, the Justin Gaethje fight, those were all wars. He got rocked. He took a lot of damage. Then, of course, he got knocked out by Michael Johnson. I don't think that he wants to get into a bloody mess war with Conor McGregor. I don't think that's the road to victory for him. I think he has to kind of mimic a Nate Diaz kind of approach where he's loose. He tries to find some flow. He not only throws combinations, but he changes it up, throwing quick, short, not too hard punches, then mixes in a couple of power punches here and there. Being ready to flow and roll with Conor's strikes. You know, Conor hit Nate a few times. One of the reasons why Nate did not go down was because Nate was loose. Nate was okay with rolling with the punch. He was even okay with hitting the mat just so long as he did not absorb the full power of the strikes from Conor. If he does this, this is the way that Dustin Poirier is going to find a path to victory. Now, that doesn't mean I choose Dustin Poirier. If I was a betting man, I would still bet Conor McGregor. But I thought it was interesting to look on the other side to see how Dustin could get the win. All right, guys, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the morsel. Remember, like, subscribe, and until next time, be practical, be purposeful, get fit with a purpose, guys.
What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive, we're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful? Name a thing that you can't do? Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42? Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's